The message came in at 2:17 a.m. I remember the time because I didn't sleep after that. I just stared at the ceiling, counting cracks, listening to her breathing beside me like it wasn't about to become a memory. It was a voice note from her, sent to someone else. But it landed on my phone. A mistake, or maybe something worse. I didn't open it immediately. I just watched it. 32 seconds. That was all it took to dismantle a marriage. I finally pressed play. A soft laugh. Not the one she used with me. This one was lighter, freer, like she wasn't carrying the weight of pretending. I miss you, she whispered. A pause. I wish it was you here instead of him. Silence filled the room. Not outside, inside me. I turned my head slowly. She was still asleep, peaceful, unbothered. Her hand rested on my chest, like she still belonged there. I didn't move it. I didn't wake her up. I didn't say a word, because in that moment, something inside me didn't break. It froze. The next morning, she made breakfast. Eggs, toast, tea. Routine. Predictable. Safe. She smiled at me like nothing had happened. Like she hadn't just erased me with 32 seconds of honesty. You didn't sleep well? She asked. I nodded slightly. Work stress? She believed it. Or maybe she didn't care enough to question it. I studied her face as she spoke. Every expression felt rehearsed now. Every word, filtered. I wondered how long it had been going on. Days? Weeks? Months? Or had I just been blind the whole time? You okay? She asked again. I forced a small smile. Yeah. I wasn't okay, but I was calm. And calm is dangerous. The signs started rearranging themselves in my mind. Late night calls with her cousin. Long showers after coming home. The sudden obsession with looking perfect, even on random days. And then there was the distance. Not physical, emotional. She was there, but never really with me. Like I was just background noise in her life. I didn't confront her. That would have been easy. Too easy. And I wasn't interested in easy. I was interested in truth. The kind you can hold in your hands. The kind that doesn't flinch when you look at it. 3 days later, she told me she was pregnant. I remember how carefully she said it. Like she was placing something fragile between us. I didn't know how to tell you, she whispered. I looked at her. Really looked this time. Her eyes were searching mine. Not for love, for a reaction, for validation, for relief. How long? I asked quietly. About 6 weeks. 6 weeks. I did the math instantly. Too instantly, because somewhere deep down, I already knew. I just needed confirmation. That's good, I said. And I meant it. Not for the reason she thought, but because it gave me something solid, something measurable, something I could test. She smiled, relieved. She thought we were moving forward. She had no idea. I had already stepped out of whatever we used to be. That night, she slept closer to me than usual. Like she was trying to rebuild something that had already collapsed. Her hand wrapped around my arm, her head on my shoulder. I stared into the darkness, counting again. Not cracks this time, possibilities. If the child was mine, I'd be wrong. And I could live with being wrong. But if it wasn't, I wouldn't scream. I wouldn't beg. I wouldn't ask why. I'd just finish it. Cleanly, quietly, permanently. The next morning, I scheduled a test. Discreet, private. She didn't ask questions when I told her it was routine. Health check, precaution. She agreed too easily. That told me more than anything else. Days passed. Slow, heavy. Every second felt like it was dragging a blade across something fragile inside me. But on the outside, I was perfect. Attentive husband. Supportive partner. I went to appointments. Held her hand. Smiled when needed. Played the role so well. Even I almost believed it. Almost. Then one evening, everything shifted. She came home late. Later than usual. Her phone buzzed while she was in the shower. I wasn't going to check it. I didn't need to, but it kept buzzing. Over and over, like it was demanding to be seen. I picked it up. Just to silence it. That's all. That's what I told myself. The screen lit up. A name, not saved. Just a number. But the message. I told you not to contact me anymore. I'm with her now. Her. Not me. Someone else. My thumb hovered over the screen. There were more messages, older ones, pictures, plans, promises. And then, one line that made everything go quiet again. You said the baby would make us real. I didn't feel anger. Not yet. Just clarity. Sharp. Precise. Unforgiving. I put the phone back exactly where it was, sat down, and waited for her to come out. Because now, I wasn't guessing anymore. I was building something. Something she wouldn't see coming. Something that wouldn't break me, but would end her. She stepped out of the shower wrapped in a towel, steam following her like a ghost trying to escape. I didn't look up immediately. I let the silence stretch. Let it breathe. Let it become uncomfortable. You're quiet, she said. I nodded slightly, still staring at nothing. Just tired? That word again. Tired. It was becoming my shield. My mask. She walked past me, humming softly, like the world hadn't already ended and she was the only one who hadn't noticed. Or maybe she had, and she thought I was still blind. That almost made me smile. No. The results came 2 days later. A plain envelope. No drama. No warning. Just truth. Folded neatly inside paper. I sat alone when I opened it. No witnesses. No interruptions. Just me. And the final confirmation of something I already knew. I read it once. Then again. Just to make sure the words didn't change. They didn't. Probability of paternity, 0%. I exhaled slowly. Not in shock. Not in pain. In acceptance. Because the worst part wasn't the betrayal. It was realizing how calm I felt after it. Like my mind had already buried the version of her I used to love. And now, I was just dealing with what was left. No. That evening, I set the table. 2 plates, 2 glasses, everything exactly the way she liked it. She noticed. Wow, what's the occasion? She asked, smiling. I looked at her. Really looked. Trying to find the woman I married somewhere beneath all the lies. I couldn't. Just felt like it, I said. We ate in silence for a while. She kept glancing at me, sensing something, not understanding it. Is everything okay? She asked finally. I nodded, then reached beside me, picked up the envelope, and slid it across the table. She looked at it, then at me. Confused. What's this? Open it. My voice was calm, too calm. She hesitated, then tore it open. Her eyes moved across the page. Once, twice, and then everything changed. Her face drained. Her lips parted slightly. No, she whispered. I didn't say anything. I just watched. Watched the exact moment her reality collapsed. This has to be wrong, she said, shaking her head. I tilted mine slightly. Is it? Silence. Heavy. Suffocating. Tears filled her eyes. I can explain. I raised my hand gently. Not aggressive. Just enough. No. One word. Sharp. Final. She froze. Because she understood something in that moment. This wasn't a conversation. It was an ending. No. I heard the voice note, I said quietly. Her breath caught. And I saw the messages. Now she was shaking. Not out of guilt. Out of fear. He meant nothing, she rushed. I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was predictable. He left you? I said. Her eyes snapped to mine. Shock. Pure, unfiltered. That's why you came back to me. Silence again. But this time, it confirmed everything. You said he made you feel alive. I continued, my voice steady. So go feel alive? Tears started falling now. Real ones. Messy. Desperate. I made a mistake, she cried. No, I said softly. You made a choice. That hit her harder than anything else. Because it was true. And truth doesn't comfort. It exposes. No. I stayed, I went on. Not because I didn't know. Her eyes widened. But because I wanted you to think you got away with it. She stared at me like she was seeing me for the first time. Not as her husband, but as something else. Something colder. I wanted the truth to come to me. Completely, I said. And it did. I stood up slowly. Calm. Controlled. Untouchable. I've already filed for divorce. Her world shattered again. You can't, she started. I can, I interrupted gently, and I did. She collapsed into the chair, sobbing now. Not for me, for herself. For the consequences finally catching up. The apartment lease is in my name, I added. You have a week. She didn't respond. Didn't argue, because there was nothing left to say. Vifto toma ptanika. No. I walked to the door, paused for a moment. Not because I was unsure, but because I wanted to feel something. Anything. Regret, anger, sadness. But there was nothing. Just quiet. I turned slightly, glancing back at her one last time. Broken, crying, alone. And for the first time, I felt nothing for her, not even hate. Because hate requires attachment. And I had already let go. Vifto toma ptanika. No. I opened the door, stepped out, and closed it behind me without a sound. Some people think karma is loud, explosive, dramatic. But they're wrong. Karma is quiet, precise, patient. It waits until you've destroyed everything yourself, and then it simply removes the illusion that you can fix it. Vifto toma ptanika. No. She said he made her feel alive. But in the end, all he did was show me exactly when she stopped being worth saving.